right, I'm going to try tagging this one on again. Do we have a program to bring dyslexic students to academic proficiency levels? What can be done if they are not achieving academically? And have we considered hiring teachers with Slingerland or with special skills to help kids similar to teachers at Charles Armstrong? Melissa.
This is actually an area of interest for me personally. It goes beyond students with dyslexia. I think we have plenty of children that go through elementary school who seem to be reading okay. And then they hit middle school and they fall off a cliff. And obviously, some kids we notice this in elementary school, but some kids we don't. And I really think it would be in our best interest to figure out how to go deeper into whether they really have the skills they need and the structures they need and the scaffolding that they need early on in elementary school so that they don't fall off that cliff, so they never have to hit that cliff. Whether it's Slingerland, whether it's Linda Mood Bell, whether it's, I don't know, there are a variety of different programs. We need to make a commitment that it's important to do this identification early. That's the first thing we need to do, and we need to help teachers see where they're holes. And so I'm committed to doing that. When you ask, are we hiring teachers specifically with Charles Armstrong skills? I don't think we're specifically looking for that, but we do need to approach literacy, I believe, in a more methodical way early on. Guided reading is not enough for a kid who is struggling.
Yeah. This question brings to mind the sharing of best practices across schools, more than just within our district, but also what are other school districts doing, what are other schools doing, and how can we capitalize on the work that's being done in other districts even. I think bringing in someone who's trained in Slingerland or Linda Mood Bell or some of the other programs that have shown to be useful with dyslexia or some other issues is to bring someone in to train our learning specialists. If we can't hire a specialist in these programs, maybe we can hire them to come and teach workshops to our learning specialists who can then implement them in the classroom. Again, it's a way of figuring out how can we share best practices not only district-wide but also from other schools and what they're doing successfully to help with these particular programs.
Part of this issue actually seems to be an issue of early identification as well, which Melissa has talked about, is that often kids who have learning disabilities or learning issues will hide the issue and they're very successful. They're smart kids and you don't ID the issue early enough. So for me, part of our focus needs to be on early ID of any issue, and whether that's autism, and obviously our responsibility starts for kids at 3 and before, is that early identification of autism and teaching of autism actually has long-term wonderful repercussions, or the reverse of repercussions is what I'm looking for. Same thing with IDing reading issues. The earlier you ID them, the better it is for the students. So the extent to which we can do a better job on that, I know friends of mine have had kids who haven't been ID'd till when they took the STAR test in 2nd grade, and finally were convinced the teacher that the child had an issue. So middle school is clearly too late, right? We've had this conversation, and how we can do better early identification. I really do think it's time for the school board to revisit this issue in English language arts in particular and many other things. So it's come up, and a teacher said to me, you guys are really focusing on mathematics a lot. It's time to refresh on English language arts, and I agree.
I agree with that as well. In fact, I think one of the things that Melissa has said I've listened to all the board members for many hours in board meetings, and one of the things that I've said that I've particularly appreciated, that Melissa said that I particularly appreciated, is the idea that there just is no good reason not to invest effort and attention to early intervention and early diagnosis, because you get the benefits flow for the rest of the child's school career, and you also you have a much easier job working on behaviors and coping strategies that aren't sort of baked in over years of time. And so I think that's just a really important insight to have. I have heard, and I think from the other side, that one of the real sources of frustration for parents, if it doesn't happen, is the sense of missed opportunities. That if we had only caught this early, how much easier this would have been, and how much further my child could be along right now. So I just think that's a win-win, and I think that this approach is something that we should be looking at, and certainly in English and also in math and across competencies.